Hi everyone. Hi Phoebe. Lovely to see you all here. Thank you for joining me. What a gorgeous afternoon it is here in Yamba. So beautiful. And yeah, I wonder what you've all been up to today. It's been a bit quiet around town as to be expected. Hi. So cute. I've just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been joining me and sending me messages of encouragement and letting me know that you're getting loads out of these videos. It's yeah, I just really enjoy connecting with people through food, and this has been a great way to connect with everyone while we've been in lockdown. So what I've been trying to do is put out recipes that are nice and quick and easy for you, that don't have too many complicated ingredients, so that you can you know, if you can perhaps source them in your pantry or in the fridge or the freezer or whatever, rather than having to, you know, put yourself out there and go to the shops and so forth. So yeah, that's what we do. That's what it's all about. So tonight we're doing a one-pot pasta, and I can see that we've got Supli Roma has joined me. I'm just going to wave to them. I visited them when I was in Rome and had the most amazing supli, which is like an arancini ball. They probably shouldn't call it that, but a rice ball, tomato flavored rice ball filled with mozzarella. It gets crumbed and fried, and then when you open it up, all the beautiful mozzarella oozes out like a telephone cord. Pretty amazing. Anyway, beautiful memories from Rome. So we're doing a one-pot pasta, and I saw Sylvia Coloca do this on a show the other night, and she said it's quite acceptable in Italy to do this type of pasta where everything is cooked in the one pot. So no need to have a pot boiling with water and another pot with your sauce. You just have it all cooking in the one pot, and the pasta takes on all the beautiful flavors of the sauce. So that's what we're going to do for our savory dish. And then while that's cooking, we're going to then make an easy tiramisu. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm going to do two variations on the tiramisu, one with coffee, which is obviously very traditional, and one not so traditional, which is with chocolate, because Scotty, my husband, he has an aversion to coffee. So this way he can enjoy dessert as well, but without the coffee. So to get started, what we're going to do is do the pasta first, and as I said, while it's cooking, we'll move on to the dessert. Hi everyone who's joining in, lovely to see you, and thank you all for coming along. We are doing, it's basically a vegetarian pasta. I've got some fresh cherry tomatoes. I've got some little capers in here, little baby capers. I've got some garlic. If you had basil stalks, they would be fabulous in here, but I didn't have any basil, so I'm going with some parsley. I'm going to chop up this little stalk nice and fine so it doesn't go to waste. I've got some olives, little black Kalamata olives, and I've also got some baby spinach, so we'll add that in at the end because that just takes moments to wilt. So, and then most importantly, we need some pasta. So I have got, just to my off to the side here, I have got La Molisana, these fettuccine nests. They cook nice and quickly. They cook in about 6 minutes. So basically your pasta you know, will be ready in the time it takes for your pasta to cook. So you go by the cooking time suggested by the pasta manufacturer. So this one's a nice quick one and really beautiful Italian pasta. Also, I just will show you, I've got some Australian pastas here by Zecca. They are a little Italian trattoria in Griffith in the Riverina area of New South Wales, and we stock their pastas. This is their gluten-free casarecce, which is made with Australian grown chickpea flour and water and love. I really love their products. A couple of other little interesting shapes. That's a casarecce just using Australian durum wheat. And then this is gigli, which is a little ruffled pasta shape, which is really interesting. So you could use those in this pasta dish as well. Okay, so what we need to do, get the kettle on. If you're cooking along with me, just pop the kettle on because you'll need some boiling water to add into the pasta. And I'm just going to get my pan heating up as well because we're going to just saute off a little bit of garlic and the capers in some olive oil, and then we'll add in all the other ingredients and cook it all together. So just let me get my little machine going here. So what we want to start off with is your garlic. Now these are the big elephant garlics that we are growing locally. I'm going to you can either chop that up finely with your knife, or you can just grate it on your microplane. So one of these, that gets it nice and fine. And another little tip, although I've cut it up now, but you can see the big gap in the garlic here. That had a big sort of germ in there, like the part that would sprout. If you take that out, you just get rid of the little bitty part of the garlic. So just a little tip there. And I'm just going to grate that garlic onto my board. But if you've got a knife, just go ahead and chop it, or if you prefer to use a garlic crusher, absolutely do that as well. We've got some, as I said, beautiful little cherry tomatoes. If you've got those and you're using them, just chop them in halves or quarters, depending on the size. So halves if they're little, and quarters if they're a bit bigger. And I'm just going to leave my garlic. So you've got all that beautiful garlic now on the inside of my microplane. And with the parsley stalks, I'm going to just chop those up into fine little bits. But if you had some basil stalks, take the leaves off and just throw the basil stalks in with the sauce, and it will gently impart its delicious flavour throughout your sauce as it cooks away. And then you can discard the stalk when the pasta is finished cooking, and then put in some fresh leaves. I think the basil must be nearly back on the back in season here in Australia. It doesn't grow very well in the winter time, but yeah, we'll have it soon. So what we're going to do, we've got, what you need for this recipe also is quite a bit of oil. So in the recipe for 4 people, about 100 mils, and that is because the oil sort of helps, it becomes part of the sauce, and it gives you flavour and a lovely lusciousness to the sauce. So you do need the oil. And we're going to go in with a little bit here into the pan. So put some little bit of oil in the pan that we're going to cook our garlic in. So make sure your pan's not too hot when you add your garlic, because you don't want to burn it. And mine's probably a teeny bit hot, but anyway, we'll go in. So just get that into some oil just to protect it from the heat of the pan. And then we can go in with our tomatoes. So I had those cut in half. I'm just going to get that in there to kind of cool the pan down a wee bit. And those tomatoes will slowly soften and let out all their juices and lovely things. So pop those in, give them a stir around. And then we've also got these lovely baby capers. Now these are Australian grown capers, and I found them in Buon's Deli, which we have here in Yamba. And the brand is Tabletop Grapes, this one here. And when I opened the bottle, it had the most beautiful, it's got little leaves and things like that inside this jar. These are the little caper leaves, these ones here. And they took me right back to a little town in Italy that I go to called Spello, where the capers grow wild in the town square. It's on a vine, and it hangs over the walls of the courtyards, and yeah, you can basically go and pick those capers and brine them and have your own preserved capers. So beautiful. Lovely to see these things in their fresh state rather than just in a preserved form. So yeah, all those special things from travelling, which we will all do again sometime soon. I've also got olives in my recipe, so just little black calamatas, and you want to take the pips out just so no one gets a surprise or breaks their teeth while they're eating the pasta. So a couple of ways you can get rid of the pip. You can just, I like to pop it on my board. It's a bit hard to see on the brown board, but just with the weight of your knife, just squash them and peel that pit out. Another option, these are actually feel like cling pips, rather than a free pip. They're kind of stuck in the meat of the olive. You've also got like these little cherry / olive pitters that you can use as well. So you put the olive in and then just push the seed out. Sorry, I think because of the variety of olive these are, I think I'm going to put them in unpitted, and Scotty and I can just be careful tonight. So they go in, and then we are going to give that a little stir, and we're going to now add our water and then our pasta. And what another really important ingredient here is salt. If you are cooking pasta in water on its own, you want to make sure that the water is super salty. Have a little taste, and it should taste like the sea. And then you know you've got it salted well enough. So in this recipe, you want to make sure you're very generous with your seasoning so that your pasta tastes delicious. Okay, so I'm just going to get my kettle from the stove. All right. Now, I've got 250 grams of pasta. In the recipe that I shared with you, I've said 400 grams. So for 250 grams of pasta, I need about 650 mils of water. This is about 500 mils. So I'm going to pop this in the pan now, and another little bit here as well. All right, so I've got the water in there. Now we go in with our nests of pasta, or whatever pasta you've got. So these beautiful little fettuccinis, they go in. And I know you're probably thinking how does this going to work? But I assure you, it works perfectly. So in with my pasta. We've got the rest of our oil, so I used some when we fried off the garlic and capers and things like that. So rest of the oil goes in, and as I said, that's going to give a lovely lusciousness to our sauce and help lubricate the pasta. We can also go in with a little bit of lemon zest, just to give the dish a nice bit of acid and citrus zestiness. So once again, just use your microplane and straight in. And then what I'm going to do is just agitate these little bits of pasta. So they all just need to get submerged in the water. Just as they start to soften, just push them down a little bit into the water. And then don't forget your salt, you need that to go in. And then we just sort of let that tick away for about 6 minutes or so. And that water will slowly evaporate. The pasta will suck it up, and we'll end up with this lovely, sauce coating the pasta, rather than at the moment the pasta sitting in a big dish of liquid. Yes, this is a fabulous one-pot recipe. I love my one-pot recipes. They, although I've just made a huge mess on the bench, generally speaking, the one-pot dishes, are the go-to, especially for weeknight evenings when you've come home from work, you want to get a meal on the table in half an hour or so. Definitely the best way to go. So we'll just let that cook away. I'm now going to shift my board, and I'm going to bring over my tiramisu ingredients so that we can get going on that. And Scotty, I might just ask you to pop me a timer on, please, for about 6 minutes. So just keep an eye on your pasta. Don't sort of walk away and ignore it. Just keep coming back and giving it a little prod and a stir, and get all that pasta sort of submerged in the liquid. And then all we've got left to add to that towards the end is our spinach and some herbs and some Parmesan cheese, of course. Okay. Oh, now I just want to say cheers to the afternoon. I asked you all to bring along your drinks, and be a Prosecco or a nice rosé or a glass of red. I did notice that Carrican, which is a lovely little cafe or restaurant, I should say, in town, are having a little sale of their beautiful wines over the weekend, just to sort of help reduce their stock in this lockdown time. So if you're wanting something interesting and delicious, go and see the guys at Carrican tomorrow. Just check out their Instagram page. They've noted their times and things like that they're operating. So cheers. Hope you've had a great week, everyone, despite the circumstances. And thank you for joining me. All right, my assistant, he's just coming along to... It's amazing how I cope without him on other nights, but tonight that he's here, I'm going to rely on him.
I feel bruised.
Cheers, Chris. Thanks for the week. Hi, Kath. I can see... I've lost all my comments now, but I can just see a few at the bottom there. All right, so tiramisu. I've come across this really easy method to make tiramisu, and it basically involves, or the recipes includes some mascarpone cheese, or mascarpone, thickened cream, or I've just got regular cream, we'll just whip it up, and some condensed milk. So your condensed milk does two things. It sweetens the cream, and just adds another element of creaminess as well. And I wanted to also talk to you about making your own mascarpone. It's obviously, we can buy it quite readily in the supermarkets and grocers and that type of thing, but you can also just make it from fresh cream and heat and lemon juice or acid. So I've been making my own recently, just because it's not that hard. You basically put the fresh cream, I'd say 600 mils of cream, into a little pot, heat it on the stove until it comes to 90 degrees Celsius. So you can use a little instant read digital thermometer for that. And then you take it off the heat for a moment, stir through about 30 mils of lemon juice, and then back on the heat, very gentle heat, and cook it for about 5 minutes. It's thickened slightly. Then you need to take it off the heat, pop it onto the bench, let it cool to room temperature, and then you want to line a sieve with muslin and put it over a bowl, and then just pour that cream mixture in there, and it will thicken as it strains through in the fridge. It will thicken, and all the thick solids will stay in the muslin cloth, and then you'll be left with some whey. So I'll show you what I've made. So in the bottom of the bowl here, you've got all this liquid called whey. Now don't throw that away. It's fabulous in baking. So tomorrow, if you're making some muffins or scones or anything like that, it adds a really nice lightness to your baking. So by all means, just replace any liquid component of a recipe with that. And also you can add it into smoothies and things like that. It'll add the cream whey will add a little bit of creaminess, but as well as protein. So definitely don't throw the whey away. And this is my lovely thick mascarpone. Oops. You can see here how beautiful it and creamy and rich it is. It's so delicious. So a nice, quick, easy tip. I've included that recipe with the tiramisu on my website. So if you want to make your own, definitely I encourage you to give it a go. So back to putting it all together. We've got some mascarpone cheese. So the mascarpone that I did there. We've got about 250 mils of cream, now thickened or pure, whichever. I guess with the thickened, it just contains some gelatin, so it will just help your cream mixture be a little bit more stable. But I'm just going to go in with my pure cream because that's what I have in the fridge. You also need the condensed milk, which is just here. So I just have been buying it in the tube because that way I can just use the 100 or so mils that I need, and I don't have to open a whole can. So a can's normally about 400 grams, and I don't make tiramisu every week. So, the little tube is great. I can just pop it back in the fridge, and then I get, pretty much 2 tiramisus out of one tube. So that goes in. And then I might get Scotty to come and be my whisker with this. Do you mind to come and do that, Scotty? He's not liking this. Work. So Scotty and I, for those that don't know, Scotty initially opened the store about 14 years ago. So we've worked together most of those years, and we enjoy cooking. We both enjoy cooking, and I think we work well together most of the time. We have our moments, like any couple, I'm sure. I'm just coming back to my pasta. I'm just going to drop that power down a little bit more. And you may need to top up your water from time to time. Just watch that sauce as it's cooking. Now you can sort of see that a lot of the liquid, there's still plenty of liquid there, but it is thickening up and reducing. So back on the stove. Oh, hello Sarah, I've just seen you join in. Nice to have you along. We've just got our one pot pasta on the stove, and we're making tiramisu while that cooks. Okay, now because I'm going to make a chocolate side of the tiramisu for Scotty and a coffee one for me, I've got 2 lots of liquid here. So for the coffee, I've just made 2 double shots of espresso, and I've just diluted it with a little bit of water. So that's my coffee there. And with the chocolate, I've used some Grounded Pleasures. It's a beautiful brand of drinking chocolate from Victoria, and we sell it in the store. So I've just diluted some of that with some water as well for the chocolate option. Now, of course, the chocolate option would be great for kids, and in that case, don't add any alcohol. But you want to sort of spike it up with a little bit of alcohol. Now, I'm using Brookie's Mac, which is a macadamia and wattle seed liqueur, which is made up at Byron Bay by the Brook Farm family. And they do also gourmet mueslis and granolas, different flavoured macadamia nuts. They're a fabulous, fabulous success story. How's it going? Yeah, so Scotty's just going to come and show you this cream. You just want it whisked until it sort of soft peaks, like that. And then you can have a little taste, just make sure it tastes good. And it's really lovely. It's not too sweet, but it's sweet enough. It's lovely and creamy. And you also remember that your Saviati biscuits, these little sponge fingers, they're also lightly dusted in sugar, so you get a little bit of sweetness there as well. So, your chosen liqueur, you could use Frangelico, you could use Kahlua. Perhaps if you were doing the chocolate version, you could, this macadamia one will work beautifully with the chocolate, but you could add some Cointreau or orange sec or something like that. So just, I don't know, no need to measure, just add a splash.
Got one.
Scotty said I need a little bit more than that. So just to spike it up a teeny bit. Yummo. And then what you need is your little dish that you're going to make it in. Now, I said in the recipe, I think it's like 17 by 20 centimetres or something. This is a little Pyrex dish. I don't make it too big because I find myself going back to the fridge and having just one more spoonful. So best not to have too large a portion sitting around.
We need to talk, darling. But
this anyway would feed 4 to 6 people, 4 to 6 nice portions. Beck says, go Scotty. I'm feeling a bit, I'm deferring to him, Beck, tonight, now that he's here and around. Anyway, this pasta is looking beautiful. It's really, that sauce is really starting to thicken up now, and it's coating the pasta really nicely. And then also once we add our Parmesan cheese, that is also going to add some thickness to our sauce as well. So in a moment, I'm going to check that pasta to see if it's al dente. All right, so to divide my tiramisu, just because we're doing a chocolate and coffee one and Scotty detests coffee, I'm putting a little barrier of alfoil between the two sections. Okay, then it's just a matter of assembly. So we're going to put about just less than a quarter of the cream into the bottom of the dish here, and then we're going to put a layer of our biscuits that have been dipped in the liquid, and then another layer of cream, another layer of biscuits, another layer of cream, and then we'll finish off with a dusting of cocoa or grated chocolate if that's what you've got on hand. So just going to put a little bit of cream in the bottom here, and I'm just going to move those out of the way so you can see. Could you reach over and try that pasta for me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, another lovely thing you could do here, if you wanted to trick this up a little bit, I know at a beautiful Italian restaurant we have here out at Angari, a little bit longer. Scotty says a little bit longer. We might just put a bit more water in there. They make their tiramisu with some beautiful praline hazelnuts in it, and I love it. You just get this little crunch of little crunchy surprise, and it just tastes delicious. I know I'm giving away all their secrets, but at the Italian on the Hill, sorry, not sure what happened there. Are we working now? Can someone just give me a thumbs up? Oh, thanks, Sarah. Thank you. Okay, so we've got just a teeny bit of cream in the bottom, just to sort of have a little, layer for the biscuits to sit on. Then we're going to dunk our biscuits. Sorry, there's not much room in the frame. Okay, so we're going in with the coffee first. So don't be leaving your biscuit in there too long. You just want a quick dunk. Otherwise, you'll find your biscuit gets way too soggy. So you want a little bit of texture remaining. And then just line those up in the bottom of the dish. Hi, Ironclad Pan. Thank you. Yeah, the one pan meals are great, and I know you guys have some fabulous cast iron cookware from New Zealand, I believe. Is that correct? So dunk those in, and I think I'm fit one more in here, and just sort of squash them up a little bit. Now in with about half of the cream you have left, and just put that layer over. Now if you were putting, you know, your little bits of hazelnut praline, if you were making that, you would sort of sprinkle those between your layers of cream and sponge. Oh, I was going to say before you've seen my video cut out, I think at the Italian on the Hill, when Fab makes his tiramisu, he puts little Ferrero Rochers throughout it. So you, every so often you get this, you dig in and you get this really beautiful little surprise of crunchy wafer and fudgy chocolate. It's quite lovely. So, you know, make it your own. So as I said, just a quick dunk. Don't be leaving your biscuits in too long. And then that goes in there like that. And then your final layer of cream. And then tiramisu is best left in the fridge for about 4 hours, or at least 4 hours before you eat it, because you want, like any trifle, for those flavors to mingle and meld, and for the biscuits to soften, and for there to be this lovely harmony of flavors going on. So it is a dessert you kind of want to make ahead of time. You know, I won't judge if after you've had your pasta tonight you want to have your tiramisu, but you know, it's probably better tomorrow if you can wait till then and have it for dessert then. So that goes in here, and then all we need to do now is give our cream mixture. So can you see all the lovely layers there? They will just, the biscuits will continue to soften and, you know, take in the flavors of the cream and all of that goodness. And then you just want a final dusting of dark cocoa or grated dark chocolate, whatever you have on hand. And that is a delicious, easy dessert. So I hope you enjoy that version of the tiramisu. I must confess, this idea I did get from Adam Liao from his show, The Cook Up. That's another fabulous cooking show. It's on every night of the week. And it's just, he has guest chefs on, and they have lots of fun and cook lots of interesting things. But everything generally is nice and quick and easy. Let's get back to our pasta. Did you have another check of this? No. I think it'll be right now. So what you want to do is make sure your pasta is just al dente, so it's still got a little bite to the tooth. And I will just check it, because there's nothing worse than it being undercooked. Probably as bad as being overcooked. Just have a little try. And at this point too, you can check your seasonings. Oh my god. Yum. Now if you like, excuse me while I'm eating. I'll just have a little drink too. Cheers. We can add in our spinach now, and if you wanted to, you could add in a little bit more lemon zest, just to bring that flavour back to, you know, just to revive that flavour, because we did add that earlier on. So in with your baby spinach. As I said, that's going to wilt down in seconds, and it just adds a lovely veggie content to your pasta. Now,
I've got one complaint.
What's Scotty complaining about?
It's 2/3 coffee.
Oh, I've made the tiramisu 2/3 on my side. So he's a bit upset. Never mind. So, yeah, this one I'm sure you could get offline and get this dish whipped up if you haven't been cooking along with me. And as I said earlier, I'm just so chuffed with how many people have been joining along, all the lovely messages I've been receiving for the last few days. When I started out on Tuesday, I was a bit of a nervous wreck, and you know, I'm getting more used to it, even though tonight I had a few technical issues. And you know, tomorrow I am going to do another little cook-off in the morning at 10:30. I'm baking a I'm baking a cake in the morning, a cake from a book called Mix and Bake, which is by Belinda Jeffrey. And she has kindly agreed to come on and have a chat with me while the cake bakes. So we'll have a little Q&A session, a little chit chat. So if you're available, come along in the morning at 10:30, or well, Belinda will join in from about 10:40, I'd say. And we'll just have a chat while the cake cooks, and she's just such a beautiful lady. So yes, it's really worth coming along. And if you can't make it, I will record it so you'll be able to watch it, at your leisure in the next, Saturday afternoon or Sunday. Okay, so I'm just going to let the residual heat wilt the rest of that spinach. We want some beautiful Parmigiana. This is Reggiano, Parmigiano Reggiano, which is sort of a top quality Parmesan. I support my local deli. It's called Buon's Deli. They're at the Yamba Shopping Centre on the outside of the building. And it's a fabulous deli. Their range is growing and growing and growing. The young couple that run it are, fabulous people to deal with. And it's just a joy to go in there and to support them. So, Parmesan from there. I got my capers from there a couple of weeks ago. And I just try and get what I can. Beautiful ham, beautiful cheeses, lots of deli items. It's really worth supporting. So there you have it. I'm just going to get a big fork so I can give you a twirl. So there we have this beautiful pasta, all cooked in one pot. Get a little bit of tomato there. All cooked in one pot. How delicious. That is going to serve at least 4 people. So, we've got leftovers for lunch tomorrow or another dinner. So, happy days. Scotty has finished doing the tiramisu. So we've got our 2 layers. Mine is probably this is my side. Bit bigger. Scotty's got this end. Anyway, happy days. So, thank you all for joining me. I hope, you're inspired to cook this dish over the weekend if you're not cooking it tonight. And once again, thank you for joining me. Cheers to Friday. I'll be doing a couple more of these next week as we're still in lockdown, and I have been enjoying it so much. And it's great to connect with you all in this way. So have a lovely evening, and hopefully you'll check in with me tomorrow, and we'll have a good chat with Belinda Jeffrey. Okay, take care everyone. Bye. Thank you, Scotty, for your help.